What is up, YouTube? It is your boy NMR Sports here, coming back at you with another video, and the Super Bowl was last night, so you know what that means. It's time for baseball. Now, since football season is over and nobody cares about basketball or hockey, and I think soccer is also a sport I've heard of before. Anyways, we need something to be excited about, so I'm going to give you something to be excited about for every single American League team in this video. If you guys want a part 2, give this video 20 likes. I will post the National League part later today, maybe tomorrow. I also have a vlog going up pretty soon. I'm going to post it at 300 subscribers, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're only like 13 away, I think. So hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 300 subscribers. Appreciate the support so far. I do have a Twitch, an Instagram, a Twitter, all that stuff will be in the description. I also have a podcast I just started called the Diamond in the Rough podcast. So if you want some more baseball hot takes and stuff like this, be sure to listen to that podcast. We're having a bunch of special guests on as well. Now, with all that junk out of the way, let's get into the video. And we're of course going to start it off with my Anaheim Angels. We are going to be most excited for Raisel Iglesias, man. Raisel Iglesias, we finally have a solid bullpen arm who can hopefully be a lockdown closer for us. At least not blow 14 saves in 60 games. Yeah, so I'm excited to have someone come in the 9th inning and have a little bit of faith in them. I know he's not perfect. I know he's not the best closer in baseball, but he's a closer. We haven't really had a closer in a few years, or at least a guy we could consider. Hansel Robles was pretty good in 2019, but Raisel Iglesias is a good guy. I feel pretty confident is going to be pretty good in the back end of our bullpen next year. Now, for the Oakland A's, I'm going to give you guys something to be excited about, and that's going to be Sean Murphy. Now, Sean Murphy was your number 3 ranked prospect, and he was supposed to be your catcher of the future. Well, you haven't seen him play a full season yet. He played 43 games last year, which is, I guess, a full season for a catcher. He played only 20 games in 2019, but with the 162 game season, which is supposed to be happening, of course, to see him with a full season sample size, I think it's going to be really exciting. Hopefully he breaks out and is considered a top catcher in baseball in the next year or so. Obviously, he's still pretty young, but he's just getting started. So hopefully Sean Murphy can have a good year for you guys, and it's something to be excited about. I know you kind of had a quiet offseason. There hasn't been much to be excited about. Elvis Andrus is on your team now, so, you know, maybe Elvis Andrus will be something to be excited about as well. But Sean Murphy is going to be the thing that I'm choosing for you guys to be excited for next year in 2021. Now, it brings me great joy to say this, but Astros fans, you don't have a whole lot to be excited about, if I'm being honest. You lost George Springer, you lost Roberto Osuna, and Justin Verlander's going to be hurt next year, so you're probably not going to get a lot. If he does come back, it'll be at the end of the season. I think you might miss the entire year. But for me, one of my favorite players on your guys' team is Yordan Alvarez, and hopefully I'm hoping for him he's going to come back and play a full healthy season. And honestly, if Yordan has a full healthy year, definitely Silver Slugger potential at the DH position, and potentially if he has an amazing year, honestly could get some MVP votes. Probably not to finish in the top 5, maybe top 10, top 15. I'm pretty high on Yordan Alvarez, so I really think Yordan could be a big boost to this lineup and make up for some of that production you're going to miss with George Springer being gone. Now for the Seattle Mariners, you're going to be most excited about Jared Kelenic. How could you not be excited for Jared Kelenic? He is an absolute stud. He's coming up. He's supposed to make his debut this year, and he is a huge prospect and supposed to be kind of like one of the saviors of your organization. Obviously, Kyle Lewis had a great year last year. Now you have Jared Kelenic coming up. You have a few other good guys in the minor leagues. Taylor Trammell was acquired from the Padres in the Osinola trade. There's definitely a lot to be excited about with your young future coming up. You probably don't have enough pitching to make a playoff run, but the AL West is so weak. Who knows? You guys could make it to the number 2 or 3 spot in this division, because the A's got worse this offseason. The Astros got worse this offseason. I'd argue the Angels got a little bit better, but we're still not that great. So the Mariners, honestly, you might even have a shot at a wild card spot or to win the AL West. So definitely, I would say you have pretty high hopes for this season. And even if you don't make the playoffs, your expectations shouldn't be that high. So Jared Kelenic, come up and have some nice production. You also have Evan White, who had a pretty mediocre season last year, so hopefully Evan White can develop a little bit. But Jared Kelenic is going to be the main focus of this year. Hopefully he comes up and it starts mashing. Now for the Texas Rangers, you guys have a lot of new faces in that squad. You have David Dahl was acquired, who has a lot of potential. You traded for Chris Davis, who's going to hit 247 like he does every year and hit 40 bombs or whatever. Dane Dunning was acquired. I think he's a very nice piece and a very good piece of young talent you got in exchange for Lance Lynn. I'm trying to think who else you guys got. Obviously, you have Joey Gallo. You still have Rougned Odor could have a breakout year. You have Willie Calhoun, who was hurt last year but could have another good year. You definitely have some good options, some good pieces around Joey Gallo in that lineup, depending on if they trade him or not. But at the end of the day, I really think you guys have the best offseason in the AL West. Do I think you're a contender? No, but I do think you're going to have a better year than you did last year. You're definitely not going to be the worst team in baseball. Now for my new favorite team in baseball, the Chicago White Sox. What do you have to look forward to in 2021? Oh, I don't know, just being the best team in the American League. There we go, I said it. You are winning triple-digit games. You have an amazing squad. You added Liam Hendricks at the back end of your bullpen. I probably would have liked to see you add someone like Jock Peterson as opposed to Adam Eaton. But, you know, you still have an amazing lineup with Jose Abreu, who was an AL MVP last year. Luis Robert has drawn comparisons to guys like Mike Trout. Eloy Jimenez is an absolute stud. Tim Anderson is an underrated shortstop. Yohan Moncada has a lot of potential. Nick Madrigal, or however the fuck you pronounce it, is coming up for you guys. You even have, oh shoot, what's his name? You even have Andrew Vaughn, who's probably going to come up and be your DH next year since Edwin Encarnacion is gone. And then you also have Michael Kopech joining the rotation. You added Lance Lynn this offseason. You really have a good squad going into 2021, and I'm very excited for you guys to be the best team in the American League. Sorry, Yankees fans, we'll get to you in a moment. Now, the Cleveland Spiders? I don't know what your team name is, but something to be excited about in 2021. You still have Shane Bieber. Your entire team is getting paid less money than Trevor Bauer is, but you still have Shane Bieber, you still have J. Ram, you still have Zach Plesac. You have a lot of damn good pieces on this squad, and I'm so jealous, man. Just give us some of your rotation or something. Let a good team have it. You guys are trying so hard to suck. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be positive. There's something to be excited about. Be excited. Shane Bieber is still really exciting, and you do have a pretty decent lineup still. It's not like you have the worst lineup in baseball. But still, at the end of the day, Shane Bieber, definitely the most exciting part of your team in 2021. Now, for the Minnesota Twins, obviously your goal in 2021 is to win a playoff game, but something you can be excited about that might help you out with that is, of course, Andrelton Simmons being added to your squad and Alex Colomé being added to the bullpen. Now, when it comes to Andrelton Simmons, you're going to have a much-needed, really good defense at you at the shortstop position that Jorge Polanco hasn't really been able to provide. So Andrelton Simmons is going to be something very exciting to watch. I know from an Angels fan perspective, even if he makes a bad play, it's still exciting to watch. You never really know what he's going to do. He's just a fun guy to watch on defense. And then Alex Colomé has been a really good closer for the last 2 or 3 years. So having him at the back end of your bullpen is going to be a very big help for you too. So those could be 2 big pieces that really led to you guys getting swept in the playoffs the last 5 years or whatever. Those are 2 guys who could really help you with those playoff sweeps. Hopefully you can at least win a game, you know? Maybe you do a 1-3, you know, 3-1 series. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, be excited about Andrelton Simmons and Alex Colomé. Those are 2 big additions. And then, of course, having Nelson Cruz back is a big help as well. So I think you guys are going to run it back, probably make a wild card spot because there's no way in hell you guys are beating the White Sox. All right, Detroit Tigers. You do have something to be excited about. Obviously, you added Wilson Ramos, Robbie Grossman. But the biggest piece I think you guys added this offseason was actually A.J. Hinch. Now, A.J. Hinch, say what you want about him. Love the guy, hate the guy. Most people hate the guy, including myself. He is a pretty damn good manager, though. You don't win a World Series, even if you guys are cheating. You don't win a World Series by being a bad manager. So I think A.J. Hinch is going to be a really good fit for your guys' squad. You have a lot of young talent coming up. Not really anything that's been producing yet, but there's still definitely a chance to see some good positive things from that team next year. You do have a few good pieces on that squad. Obviously, Casey Mize came up last season. It wasn't great, but he's still very young, and he has a lot of potential. He has that ace potential. So hopefully you can see some development from younger guys, and A.J. Hinch can take over and be a really solid fill-in manager for you guys for the next few years to develop a sort of a winning culture over there in Detroit. Now, for the Kansas City Royals, you guys honestly could be a sneaky wild card team. I really like this squad. You got guys like Brady Singer coming up. Obviously, you added Carlos Santana this offseason. Carlos Santana's great with on-base percentage. Jorge Soler's got some crazy pop in that bat. Whit Merrifield is a stud. Don't be sleeping on Whit Merrifield. Adalberto Mondesi had a great last month of the season last year, so he could be having a breakout year. Literally you have a great lineup all the way through, and you have some pretty solid starting pitching. It's not elite, but it's pretty good, and you guys have been adding some bullpen pieces. So I don't know if you go out and add a guy like Trevor Rosenthal. I know that's been kind of rumored could be a fit for you guys. There's definitely a few options you could have going back there. I think if you get a little bit better bullpen, you honestly have a chance at making that second AL wildcard spot. So I would definitely be excited if you're a Royals fan. Definitely don't get your hopes up, but I don't know. You guys could sneak into a second wildcard spot there. Now, what do the New York Yankees have to be excited about in 2021? Just about everything. You guys added Corey Kluber. You traded for Jameson Taillon. You are hopefully going to have a healthy Aaron Judge. Hopefully have a healthy Giancarlo Stanton. I know that's been a lot to ask for the last few years. Luke Voigt is an absolute stud. You re-signed DJ LeMahieu. Hopefully Gary Sanchez can come back into form. If not, you still have Kyle Higashioka, who was pretty damn good last year. Gleyber Torres in a 162-game season is a scary thing to have out there. Clint Frazier is a stud. Do I need to keep going? You guys are going to be fine. You are going to have an amazing year. I know you will. Your bullpen is pretty good. Don't be freaking out about your bullpen. You added Darren O'Day, who's a really good option for you guys there. Darren O'Day and Zach Britton in that bullpen, man. Imagine saying that in 2015 to the Orioles, that the Yankees were going to have Zach Britton and Darren O'Day. Absolutely crazy. So definitely there's nothing to be pessimistic about if you're a Yankees fan. You're definitely making the playoffs, and you're more than likely winning the AL East. There is one team that could challenge you, but I think you pretty much got the AL East on lockdown. And in my opinion, you're probably the best team in the AL, but I really like the White Sox. So I'm still going to stick with the White Sox being my favorite in the American League, but you guys are still going to win triple-digit games and win the AL East easily. Now, if one team is going to challenge the New York Yankees, it is going to be the Toronto Blue Jays, with help from their newly acquired Victoria's Secret model, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a new man this offseason. He lost a ton of weight and is probably going to be their starting first baseman, I would guess, next year. And then, of course, they acquired George Springer. They acquired Marcus Semien, who's going to be a good fit for their infield there. They still have Bo Bichette and Cavan Biggio. They have a really stacked outfield out there with Teoscar Hernandez coming back, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and then Randall Grichuk doesn't really have a spot either. Bro, their team is so good next year. It's going to be crazy. I don't think they have the starting pitching. That's the only reason I don't think they're going to overtake the Yankees. But who knows, man? If they go out and get a guy like Big Maple, James Paxton, they definitely have a shot. They added Kirby Yates to their bullpen. They added Tyler Chatwood, who's a pretty good long reliever kind of guy. Yeah, I definitely could see the Blue Jays. They're definitely going to make the playoffs, in my opinion, and I honestly could see them challenging the Yankees for that first place in the AL East, depending on if the Yankees stay healthy or not. If the Yankees have some injury troubles like they have had in the past years, I definitely think the Blue Jays could swoop in and kind of take over. Kind of what the Rays did last year, the Blue Jays could do this year. Now, speaking of the Tampa Bay Rays, Tampa Bay, the city of championships, Tampa Bay and LA, man. The Tampa Bay Rays, you'll find something to be excited about. Honestly, when I look at your team, it's not that impressive, but I know you're going to find something to be excited about. I'm personally most excited about my man, MFer named Randy Arozarena, the most exciting player in baseball. I'm buying a Randy Arozarena jersey day one. I'm going to the Trop, and I'm buying a Randy Arozarena jersey. I have to. One of the most exciting players in the postseason last year, and hopefully he carries that over into the regular season and can be an absolute stud. Definitely a Rookie of the Year candidate next year. He's going to be an absolute stud. Super exciting to watch. You, of course, acquired Luis Patino from the Padres, so expect him to be a Cy Young candidate next year because that's what Tampa Bay does. Obviously, you wouldn't think that, but it's Tampa Bay. You really don't know. Tyler Glasnow is probably going to have the greatest pitching season of all time now that he's the ace in that rotation. I don't know. When I look at your team, you don't look like a third-place team. You honestly look like a fourth-place team in this division, but you'll find a way to make me wrong and win the AL East and win the World Series. I don't know. You'll figure it out. I'll be at your game, so give me something to be excited about. Motherfucker named Randy is definitely on the top of that list. Now for the Boston Red Sox, the realistic fourth-place team in this division. You guys have added quite a few pieces this offseason. Obviously, you added Kike Hernandez. You added Hunter Renfroe over from the Rays, who's pretty decent bat in the lineup there. And then Chris Sale is coming back off Tommy John surgery, as well as Eduardo Rodriguez. So you guys are going to have a good rotation next year. You did trade for Adam Ottavino, so he could be a solid back end of the bullpen there. Probably your closer next year. I don't know if you guys have the bullpen or the pitching in general to make a playoff run, but realistically, I don't dislike your lineup. If I'm being honest, when I look at your lineup, I like it more than the Rays. But like I said, the Rays are probably a better run organization, and they'll figure something out to do with that lineup, where the Red Sox, I feel like, could have another bad year. So we'll have to see. This is a very stacked top four teams in the AL East. Obviously, if I had to pick, I'd say Yankees, Blue Jays, probably Rays, then Red Sox. But Rays and Red Sox, I feel like, are pretty close by. And honestly, the Blue Jays. So I really don't know. The AL East is going to be a very exciting division next year, the AL and NL East. So if you're an Eastern Division fan, you should be scared, but you should also be excited because it's going to be must-watch baseball just about every game. I also realized I didn't really say anything about the Red Sox there. But Chris Sale, absolutely elite starting pitcher, is going to be a big impact to your team next year. Definitely win you a ton of games with that lineup around him. Hopefully JD Martinez is a bounce back season. Alex Verdugo is poised to break out. You have all sorts of good guys in the lineup. Xander Bogaerts is still a stud. Rafi Devers is still a stud. Definitely something to be excited about. Bobby Dahlback coming up. All sorts of different things. So definitely be excited if you're a Red Sox fan. Like I said, very stacked division out there. Now, last but certainly not least, maybe the most exciting one on this list for any franchise on this list is going to go to the Baltimore Orioles. You guys are getting Trey Mancini back. How could you not be excited about that? My man goes out last year with colon cancer and beats it and just comes back like an absolute stud. Even if he has a mediocre season next year, it's going to be such a good success story and such a cool story. Definitely comeback player of the year as soon as he steps on that baseball diamond, kind of like an Alex Smith in the NFL. So Trey Mancini, round of applause, man. I'm so excited to watch you next year. Definitely the highlight of that Orioles team when you are healthy, and hopefully you have a good and healthy 2021 season. And Orioles fans should be very excited to see you back on that baseball diamond for you. And that is going to do it for us. I did that all in one breath, as you can tell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like for part 2, which is going to be the National League things to be excited for. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.